Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the South Boston Speedway in South Boston, Virginia. We are here for the second race in season number 5 of the Herr's Dash Series. 78 laps of action around this 0.4 of a mile speedway. And we should be in store for a great short track evening of racing. First short track of the season of quite a few short tracks this Herr's Dash Series will feature this season. A lot of standalone events on the calendar for this series. And this is the first one. The Wawa Pro Series is out west in California, but we remain on the East Coast here at the South Boston Speedway for the first short track of the season. Last week at Daytona, Mark Moore went to victory lane in that very interesting super speedway event. We go from one of the longest tracks on the schedule to the shortest track on the schedule here tonight. Mark Moore starts in the 5th position. We'll have to see if he has the prowess to win on the super speedway and on a short track. This race will also feature a cycle of pit stops as well, about a 42-lap fuel run roughly. That's just past halfway here in the South Boston 50K, so that will come into effect as well. But we should be in store for a great race here on this short track. As in testing, had a lot of passing, a lot of moves being made throughout the racetrack, and I think it's going to be a great race from the start to the finish of this one. The starting lineup was determined by the fastest lap in the prior feature event at Daytona, so Trey Smith, who even though he did not receive any championship points at Daytona, gets to start on the pole here tonight. But the driver who is the points leader is Mark Moore after winning that race at Daytona. 12 points towards the championship for him. Johnny Bastuco is 3 points behind. Mitchell Henderson 4 points behind. Addison Gerald 5 points behind. And Brian Webb 6 points behind coming into tonight's event. A lot of newcomers up front in the points who ran well in that race at Daytona. We'll have to see if they can do the same here at South Boston. Go ahead and get the starting lineup here at the South Boston Speedway. Like I mentioned, Trey Smith starting on the pole in the number 21 machine for Collins Racing. Alongside him, Elijah Gordon in the number 69. Elijah Gordon started on the pole at Daytona, did not end up with a good finish there. Actually finished 11th, no points, so about as best you can get without any points at Daytona, but you like to get some points here tonight at South Boston. Brandon Yodel to the inside of Silas Horta in row number 2. Last winner here in the Herr's Dash Series, Mark Moore, starting to the inside of Ace Garcia there in row number 3. You got Ian Hall in the 22 to the inside of Alex Bonsignor. And John Andrews starting to the inside of Allison Rain. Behind those guys, you have Addison Gerald to the inside of Brock Nelson. Brian Webb to the inside of Christian Master. You got Caleb Rose to the inside of Johnny Bastuco. Mitchell Henderson and Noah Clifton in row number 9. And then it's Keith Kent and the 28 machine of Caleb Rose in the last row. The number 82 is John Davis there, starting to the inside of Johnny Bastuco, not Caleb Rose in that position. I got those cars confused. They're inverse of each other, and I forgot which one was the 82 and which one was the 28. But either way, we're ready to get these guys to roll off. You see the starting lineup there on the right-hand side of your screen. 78 laps of action here tonight on the shortest track on the circuit. Only 0.4 of a mile here in South Boston, Virginia. So even though it's the longest race lap-wise, one of the shortest races of the season, only 50 kilometers in length, this race will go by very quick. Trey Smith, Elijah Gordon on the front row here at the South Boston Speedway. Of course, both of these guys have a lot of experience, especially Elijah Gordon, all-time winningest driver in this series, specifically with 20 career wins on the channel. We'll have to see what they do here tonight. Pace cars down the pit lane. We're underway at the South Boston Speedway in the Herr's Dash Series. Outside lane did not get a good jump there at the start of the race, as Elijah Gordon already fallen back in a battle for 4th with Ian Hall, and John Andrews on that inside lane looking to take advantage as well. It's how it is on these short tracks. You'll want to be on that inside lane, and Elijah Gordon did not have a good jump on the start there. For second, Mark Moore already looking to pick up right where he left off here. Brandon Yodel a little wide off the exit of turn number 2 right there. John Andrews moved to the inside of Ian Hall for the 3rd position. He's also got a nose to the inside of Brandon Yodel for that third position as well. Number 41 is going to take it right away, so John Andrews looking very strong. But how about Trey Smith holding onto this race lead? Brian Webb in the 33 moving his way through the field right here. Doing a great job right there for Cropley Motorsports in the number 33 machine, working his way through the field. Elijah Gordon continues to fall back, and Gordon is now falling outside the points. He started on the outside pole and is still stuck in that outside lane and just nowhere to go for Elijah Gordon as all these guys surpass him on that inside lane. There's a really big fall off there on that outside lane here at the South Boston Speedway. Tough break there for Elijah Gordon. Ian Hall as well falling back in the 22 machine. Brandon Yodel as well in the 79. You just do not want to get stuck up there, and it looks like Brian Webb has a fast car in this 33 machine as he's closing in now on the 86 up the third in this 33 machine, looking to get on Mark Moore for that position. Silas Orta, Mitchell Henderson finished third at Daytona last week, looking to bounce back from that. Maybe get a couple positions higher here tonight at South Boston Speedway. His teammate, Silas Orta, there at King R Family Racing, doing an excellent job so far in this race. Got Keith Kent here to the inside of Brock Nelson. And Henderson looking to the inside of Silas Orta for position. That's for fourth. Keith Kent going to take it away there from Brock Nelson. That is going to be for the 7th position. And in the wall hard, Brandon Yodel, and Bonsignore's around down the backstretch. And he's going to collect the number 7 machine of Noah Clifton as well. And Yodel, that's the second time he went very wide off the exit of the corner. And that is going to cause some interesting strategy to play out. They're already coming down the pit lane here. Some guys coming down, some guys staying out, as a matter of fact. Our race leaders, Trey Smith and Mark Moore, they're down the pit lane. But Brian Webb, Mitchell Henderson, Silas Orta, Brandon Yodel, the guy who caused the accident, staying out. Caleb Rose, Elijah Gordon trying to gain some track position here. Everyone's still going to have to make one more stop in this race. We'll have to see if the tires or what give an advantage here to Trey Smith, Mark Moore, and these guys. Looks like it's going to be a 4-tire stop for these guys, 11 laps into the race, so they're going to definitely be at an advantage right here. Bonsigniore down the repair damage in the 53 machine, as he had heavy contact, and so does Noah Clifton in the number 7. A tough break for all those guys involved. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Brandon Yodel just wide off the exit of turn number 2, and Bonsigniore had nowhere to go. Caleb Rose down the pit lane right there. Noah Clifton still on the pit lane. Same with Bonsigniore. Both Clifton and Bonsigniore are going to go a lap down. Not a good start to the season for those guys. So 4 drivers stayed out. Brian Webb, Mitchell Henderson. Orta actually came back down. Brandon Yodel, who caused the accident, now going to be third. And then Elijah Gordon, the Trey Smith, the first driver with fresh tires in the number 21. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day of the night here in the South Boston Speedway in the Herr's Dash Series. And you're going to see right here, Brandon Yodel is a little wide off the corner, scraped the outside wall. But the thing is, you got that entry into the racetrack. And that's a hard hit there for the 79. Got in the Bonsigniore there in the 53 and nowhere for the 53 to go. Just an innocent victim in this one. And then Noah Clifton in the number 7. Just a pop right there, right on the hood. And that's going to knock out both Bonsigniore and Noah Clifton from the rest of this race. Replay this in real time following the 79, and yeah. Just a little wide off the corner. It's a tight racetrack, and Brandon Yodel just went a little wide, and Bonsigniore had nothing to do with that. Got caught up. Tough break for the 53, but that's the way it goes sometimes, and especially here on a short track. And a very interesting strategy. Ian Hall got spun there, entering pit lane, but I don't think that's going to affect him too much. 4 guys stayed out. Brian Webb, your race leader, but I think those guys who took tires, they're going to have the advantage here on the restart. Let's go ahead and see what happens on the restart here at the South Boston Speedway. We're back here at the South Boston Speedway. Going to restart in lap 15 of 78 here in the South Boston 50K. 4 drivers, I should say, stayed out. It's Brian Webb, Mitchell Henderson, Brandon Yodel, who was caught up in that accident, Elijah Gordon. Those 4 guys do not have fresh tires, but Trey Smith, Mark Moore, John Andrews, John Davis, Keith Kent, Brock Nelson, they all have fresh tires right there. They could be a threat to surpass these drivers on the racetrack. Back to racing here at South Boston. Brian Webb with the jump. Watch out for Brandon Yodel in the 79. He has that damage. And Trey Smith and Mark Moore both coming down. It looks like both of these drivers may have been penalized for something. That is a tough break for those guys because it's under the green flag and they're going to fall back from that. So now that's going to give the advantage to the Ryan Durrani Incorporated guys here. You got Brock Nelson, John Andrews on the fresh tires trying to close in on these guys. And for the race lead, the number 89 of Mitchell Henderson rolling to the inside of Brian Webb. A tough break for both Mark Moore and Trey Smith. They're coming down to take tires again. I'm not sure what the issue is for both of those drivers, but for both of them to simultaneously have that issue, that's a little interesting right there. Brian Webb a little wide off the exit at turn number 2, just like Brandon Yodel did earlier on. Elijah Gordon still third. Now you got Brock Nelson, the first guy with fresh tires, moving his way through the field right here. Now, the question is, will Trey Smith and Mark Moore be able to make it to the end of the race? I don't think they will. That's 58 laps, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it, but I'm wondering if that was the strategy play for those guys, or if they, in fact, were penalized. But either way, Mitchell Henderson leads this field in the number 89 machine, and actually pulling away right now. Brock Nelson going to the inside of Elijah Gordon there for the third position. You have Addison Gerald moving his way up to the field as well. Of course, Brandon Yodel, no surprise, he has fallen back in that 79 as he's got significant damage to that machine after that accident. Out of the race from the accident include Alex Spalancor and Noah Clifton. You saw the heavy damage both of those drivers had. Neither of those drivers will receive any championship points here today. Take a quick look at the fastest lap right now. That goes to the 57 machine. And good job out of Addison Gerald looking to get the pole position for the next race at the Auto Club Speedway. We'll have to see what he can do in this number 57. These guys, along with Brock Nelson, those guys on the fresh tires, Allison Rain as well. They're getting some fast laps right now here, and they're definitely looking to get the advantage in the starting order for the Fontana 80K next week. Mitchell Henderson has the advantage right now, but he's going to have to hold off these guys with fresh tires, and Brock Nelson is coming in the number 37. Allison Rain as well. She's going to move to the inside of Brian Webb, so of all these guys who did come down and take tires under the caution, they only got one more driver to pass before they are in front, and Mitchell Henderson doing an excellent job, but there may only be so much he can do before these guys inevitably pass him. Addison Gerald still the great battle here with Allison Rain. That's for the third position currently. Johnny Bastuco on the number 17 also came down and took fresh tires, and he is up inside the top 5 now. Then you got Christian Master moving to the inside, and Brian Webb's out just a sitting duck in that 33 after he did not take tires. Brandon Yodel's about to go to the end of the field here. Trey Smith and Mark Moore are both 2 laps down, so we'll have to see what happens with those guys once this race cycles through. Very interesting that the top 2 guys who came off the pit lane were either both penalized, could have been speeding off the pit lane possibly, or they could have had an unsafe entry back onto the racetrack. It's a very tight racetrack, and with the fact that you had 4 guys staying out there, they may have actually jumped them by accident and got caught doing so. Here comes the 37 of Brock Nelson with the fresh tires, moving to the inside of Mitchell Henderson for the race lead. And I knew the racing in this series was going to be very chippy. Only 20 drivers in the field. You got a lot of veterans and you got a lot of rookies, and those rookies are looking to prove something. But right now you got a couple of guys with a significant amount of experience compared to a lot of these newer guys. Brock Nelson, Mitchell Henderson, both have been racing for a couple of years now. They know what they're doing. But how about Bastuco on the number 17 for Logan Sport? His teammate Noah Clifton got caught up in the accident, but Bastuco right on the back bumper of Mitchell Henderson here for the second position. Ian Hall looking to the inside of Addison Gerald. Allison Rain fell back a little bit. She's under fire from Christian Master right now in the number 98. Of course, Master, a long-time veteran here. Ace Garcia here in the number 97 as well. Brian Webb and Keith Kent holding on to the top 10. Bastuco for the second position on Mitchell Henderson. Now Henderson's going to start falling back a little bit in this number 89 machine. Ian Hall, next driver in line to surpass this 89. But the good thing is, for all these drivers, they also have to make one more stop in this race. I highly doubt that Trey Smith and Mark Moore are going to be able to get any advantage. But they are moving their way through the field. They may actually try to get one of their laps back here. And it is possible they could do so because they have the freshest tires in the field. And when it comes to a short track, you want to have those fresh tires. They definitely come into effect as the race goes along. Brock Nelson looking for his third career win on the channel here tonight. He's twice won in the Cup Series, but both of his wins came in non-points events in the old NOFSRL Cup Series back in the day. He won a dual race and then won the Open. But he's never won a points-paying race before on this channel. This could be the first time he does so here tonight. But Bazduko in the number 17 is looking really quick right now, and he finished runner-up at Daytona. If he wins this race tonight, even if he finishes second, he's definitely looking to take the points lead here in the Herr's Dash Series after 2 races. He's got the nose to the inside of Brock Nelson for the race lead, and he's going to take it right away from him. Allison Rain up to 3rd. She's going for her first career win on the channel. Ace Garcia there, and the number 97 running 4th, and you got Ian Hall, Addison Gerald. Henderson still falling back as he has yet to make a pit stop in this race. Christian Master moving to the inside of him. Keith Kent, and now you got the 82 of John Davis inside the final points paying position in 10th. But here comes Mark Moore in the number 86, 2 laps down, has those fresh tires. He's moving his way through the field very well so far for Titan Fury Motorsports. Bazduko is taking the race lead away from Brock Nelson. And halfway through the South Boston 50K, we've already had a quarter of the field lead this race here at the South Boston Speedway. So, an excellent short track race so far here tonight in the Herr's Dash Series. Brock Nelson there, running in to the 2nd position. Ian Hall has gotten around the 97 of Ace Garcia for the 4th position. Here comes Addison Gerald looking to get to the inside of Garcia as well. And they have now put Mitchell Henderson in the 9th position. John Davis, John Andrews, next 2 guys in the line looking to surpass this 89. Don't think that strategy worked out for a lot of those guys. Elijah Gordon's all the way at the back of the field right now on the number 69 machine after he also stayed out on the racetrack. As a matter of fact, Brandon Yodel also got around him. Or stayed ahead of him, I should say. Bazduko pulling away, 7/10 of a second lead right now. Brock Nelson in 2nd, Allison Rain in 3rd, Ian Hall, Addison Gerald. You got the 97 there of Ace Garcia in the 6th position. Mark Moore's doing a great job. The only downside is he is 2 laps down, and that could definitely be an issue as this race goes along, obviously. Trey Smith has not been able to get through this field near as well. And he's a bit of a ways off from Mark Moore right there, and Mitchell Henderson will finally fall outside the points as John Andrews moves up into the 10th position there in the number 41. So these guys have kind of settled down at this point, but everyone still has to make another stop in this race. As a matter of fact, should anticipate guys like Mitchell Henderson and Brandon Yodel, Elijah Gordon coming down here very soon. Who's the other guy who stayed out there? Can't remember. Oh, Brian Webb in the number 33. My apologies. Yeah, I knew there was another guy who stayed out. I couldn't remember who it was. It's Brian Webb who stayed out there in the 33. These guys are going to be coming down very soon. Of course, they did have that caution, so they're not going to need to come down right away. But we'll have to see when they do, in fact, make their pit stop here in this race. But it will all cycle through eventually. Everyone still has to make another stop in this event. 30 laps to go this time by for Johnny Bazduko, leading the field for Logan Sport right now. A 2nd lead on Brock Nelson. There's Elijah Gordon, and there they all come. Mitchell Henderson still yet to make his stop. But Brian Webb's down the pit lane. Same with the 33 machine, or same with the 79 of Brandon Yodel. And Elijah Gordon also down as well. Battle for 2nd. Allison Rain is closed in on Brock Nelson for the 2nd position. She's going to take that away from the number 37. So Brock Nelson now down to the 3rd position, but Bazduko liking that out of his rearview mirror as he's now got a 1.5 second lead on the field. 1.5 seconds right now. It's possible, Mark Moore or Trey Smith, they'll be able to stay out. If they get a caution to fall right in their favor, they may be able to get their laps back. It's possible. Now you got Elijah Gordon. He's going to be coming through the field very quickly because he has those fresh tires now compared to these guys. These guys are kind of on the opposite end of their tire wear. Very worn out tires for our race leader. So all these guys who have just come down the pit lane are going to be gaining seconds a lap. And they could find themselves at some bit of an advantage. I do believe Mitchell Henderson leads the guys who came down. And that number 89 machine, they should only be, they're 2 laps down right now. With some guys, Elijah Gore and Brandon Yodel, both 3 laps down at the moment. And of course, Yodel, I think, had an extended stop, so that would explain why he is 3 laps down, even though he's still ahead of the race leader. Bazduko a little wide off the corner there. Here comes Allison Rain. This could be the winning move right here for the race victory. Allison Rain coming down the pit lane right here in the number 8 machine. And she was second at the time right here. She could definitely gain a huge advantage by coming in a lap earlier than Bazduko in the 17, especially considering Bazduko's getting passed here by the 69. That's going to slow Johnny down a little bit more. John Anders down, Ian Hall, Brock Nelson's down, Addison Gerald, Ace Garcia. There was not much of a gap there, but these guys know they can't stay out there for too long and expect to still have an advantage on the rest of the field who already came down. You got Mitchell Henderson here in the number 89, 33 of Brian Webb. They're good to go to the end of the race. John Davis, I believe, is still yet to make his stop. I don't think that's the case. I think John Davis has already made his stop. He may actually be just ahead of those guys. Bazduko's come down the pit lane. Everything all over the place right now. Bazduko's still shown the race leader at the moment. But Allison Rain's out there now in the number 8 machine, and she has a bit of an advantage on this field, I think, because she came down just a little bit earlier than everybody else. Oh, and we got a spin. Trey Smith in the 21, right in the middle of the cycle. Oh, and that's going to really shake things up. That may have just given Bazduko an advantage. And this is exactly what I was talking about with Mark Moore and Trey Smith. The only downside for Trey Smith is he didn't want to be the caution. And he's going to have to come down the pit lane. Keith Kent got caught up in that one as well, right off the exit of turn 2 again. That's the trouble spot here tonight. That, I think, may have been a bit of a saving grace for Johnny Bazduko in the number 17. So he's going to have to come through and complete his lap. Hopefully he'll do so cleanly, and he will. So that was interesting right there. And he may have actually... Ooh, we'll have to see how this cycles through. This is going to be interesting. Because it's showing Bazduko, the only driver, pretty much on the lead lap. I think that the 22 of Ian Hall and the 8 of Allison Rain are on the tail end of the lead lap here. Mark Moore is going to have to come down the pit lane in the 86 because he's still going to have to make another stop. We'll have to see how this cycles through. Oh, yeah. That worked out in Bazduko's favor heavily because he's essentially lapped the entire field. That was a very inconvenient caution for a majority of this field. Mark Moore's had to come down the pit lane. He's at the back of the field right now. This whole field's essentially a lap down right now. Ian Hall, Allison Rain on the tail end of the lead lap here. It's going to be an interesting fight to the finish. I don't think we're going to have a battle for the win at this point. Bazduko just won out there on the cycle. Right at the end, too. Well, let's go ahead and see what happened to Trey Smith to bring out this second caution of the night here in the South Boston 50K. Bringing out the second caution of the night here in this race, and definitely playing a huge factor into who gets this race victory. And you're going to see right here, Trey Smith in the 21's trying to come down the pit lane, and Addison Gerald's trying to come back on the pit lane. Ah, that was so close. And then, you know, Trey Smith actually avoided the barrels there at the pit lane entrance. But that is what is going to completely overturn this race. Pretty much hand it right to Johnny Bazduko, given that Johnny Bazduko does not have an issue. And a hard hit there from Keith Kent. That's going to knock Keith Kent out of the race. The tough break for Trey Smith there. I mean, granted, he would have been a couple laps down anyway once it all cycled through. This actually may benefit him now that the caution is out because I think he's back on the lead lap or maybe a lap down. But he's going to be contending for some points here, I do believe. But he won't be contending for the win as pretty much the entire field is now a lap down here at the South Boston Speedway. Replay this in real time just one more time. Yeah, that's just driver error out of Addison Gerald is coming up and clearing that 21. You see the damage on the 57 there, and then Keith Kent nowhere to go on the 75. Tough break for those guys, but it is what it is. And Johnny Bazzucco is very thankful for that, as he essentially has the field lapped and has this race in play for a possible race victory here at the South Boston Speedway. We're back here at the South Boston Speedway, and the only driver on the lead lap is Johnny Bazzucco. Lapped the field when the caution came out. Ian Hall and Allison Rain are second and third, and then it's Addison Gerald, John Davis, and Ace Garcia back in there. We're green flag once again. If a caution comes out right now, then that's going to definitely shake up the race, because then you have Ian Hall and Allison Rain still ahead, and the caution does come out. Mark Moore in the 86. And that's a tough break for Mark Moore, because he benefited from that caution coming out there. So now that's going to put the 8 and the 22 at a bit of an advantage here. Addison Gerald in the 57, I think, is still going to be a lap down. So that's going to put 3 guys on the lead lap now for the finish of this race. This race really got wacky at the end here. Mark Moore with heavy damage. His day is going to be done. And then you have Ian Hall, Allison Rain going to be at the back of this field here, so they're not really going to have much of an opportunity to get around the 17, I think, in these final few laps. But they are essentially back on the lead lap. They just have all these lap cars in between them because of that cycle. Mark Moore is going to be done for the night after that one. 37 machine of Brock Nelson's 3 laps down. I think you have a slow stop when we have the green flag cycle. And then the 75 of Keith Kent also out of the race from that prior incident. Well, let's see what happened to Mark Moore. Bring up the 3rd caution of the night here in the South Boston 50K. And we're just going to follow here once here with Mark Moore. He actually tried to come down the pit lane and was stuck up high and could not get the entry and hit the pit road wall. That's embarrassing. Not been Mark Moore's night, not at all like it was at Daytona. That is going to put Ian Hall and Allison Rain on the lead lap again, but they're going to be behind all the lap cars. So only unless Bazzucco wrecks out in these final 10 laps, I think the 17 is going to get the race victory. But hey, you never know. It ain't over till it's over. Let's see what happens here at South Boston. Fairly well on the rest of the field. Ian Hall and Allison Rain battling for the podium positions right there. But all Bazzucco needs to do is run a clean race, and this is his race to lose. Wacky race here at South Boston. And it would have been fine if we didn't have that caution right in the middle of the cycle. It would have cycled through. It would have been a great race, but not the case here tonight. John Davis now up to 4th. Ace Garcia is 5th. Addison Gerald falling back. John Andrews getting a lot of positions here. Going to be a lot of points for John Andrews if he can move up a few more places. Caleb Rose there. Silas Orta. Mitchell Henderson trying to battle for that last point with Christian Master, but Master's going to take it away from him right there. And then Ian Hall trying to cut his way through the field here. There's just not going to be enough time. Ooh, Caleb Rose wide. He just tapped the outside wall. Been a while since we've had a race like this. This is kind of uncanny for a race on this channel, but it happens sometimes. It was a natural caution that occurred there. Trey Smith bringing out the yellow and essentially handing Bazzucco the race victory, but it's not quite over yet. You got to make it to the finish. And Bazzucco's got 3 laps to go to do so. Ace Garcia trying to get his lap back. It doesn't really mean that much. So this 97 looking to get 4th. That's going to be 7 points towards the championship for Ace Garcia if he can do it. I think he may have fresher tires here in the 17. He's really all over the back bumper of the 17 machine. White flag next time by for Johnny Bazzucco here in the Herr's Dash Series at South Boston. And a 3.5 second lead on Ian Hall there, who's all the way at the back of the field. Bazzucco's going to get his first career race victory here tonight in the Herr's Dash Series and only his 2nd ever start. Johnny Bazzucco wins for Logan Sport here at South Boston. And Ian Hall will get 2nd just ahead of Allison Rain. Rain will finish 3rd. And then it's going to be Ace Garcia, John Davis, Christian Master, John Andrews, Addison Gerald, Trey Smith, who was caught up in that accident, will get 9th. And then the number 90 of Silas Order with the last point here at South Boston. Now, one time, I thought I was going to do a race here in the Cup Series back in the day. That never happened for a reason. And tonight's race is a reason why that never happened. Fastest lap, so they will start like this for the Fontana 80K. That should be a bit of a more normal race next week. Addison Gerald wins the pole for that alongside Christian Master. Allison Rain, 37 there of Brock Nelson. Ace Garcia, Ian Hall, Mitchell Henderson, John Andrews, Brian Webb, 82 of John Davis, 75 machine of Keith Kent. Johnny Bazzucco, the winner of this race, will start 12th. You got the 90 machine there, Silas Orta. 28 machine of Caleb Rose. 21 of Trey Smith. 86 machine of Mark Moore. 79 of Brandon Yodel. 53 of Alex Bonkinor. 69 of Elijah Gordon. And number 7 of Noah Clifton. That's how they'll line up for the Fontana 80K next week. The race winner was Johnny Bazzucco, and by benefit of the caution coming out during the cycle, he had stayed out longer than anybody else, and that is what gave him the advantage. Ian Hall and Allison Rain in second and third right there. They're going to get some good points, but a bit of a wacky race here at South Boston, no doubt about it. But Bazzucco's going to have the points lead heading in the Auto Club next week. That race should be a bit more normal than this one. It's a little bit of a wacky race, no doubt about it, but 25 laps there around the Auto Club Speedway next weekend, and we should have a good one there under the lights in California. Thank you guys so much for watching. Apologize that this race was what it was, but hey, it was what it was, and it was a natural caution there that came out there when Trey Smith had some issues there. He still managed to get some points in this race, though, but that race was all over the place. We had great racing during that long green flag run in the middle, thankfully. But yeah, we didn't have a good race for the finish, but hey, it happens. You know, Johnny Bazzucco is going to be the beneficiary of all of that with his first career race victory. Here are the points for the Herr's Dash Series after 2 races. And like I mentioned, we'll see you next week at the Auto Club Speedway for the Fontana 80K. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Johnny Bazzucco for the race victory here at South Boston. And this weekend you'll see Willow Springs in the Wawa Pro Series. That should be a better race because there are no cautions on the road courses. So we should have a good race for the Wawa Pro Series this weekend. And also IndyCar is back after that great Indy 250 from Road America. So excited about that one as well. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.